So here we are, New York City. What is it? 2:20?
2:20.
2:20 in the afternoon on October 29th. So it's raining.
Waiting for Sandy to show up.
Yeah.
In a few hours, like several hours.
Yeah, like tonight sometime. And I don't know how much you can see on the video, but it's just raining and blowing.
And raining and blowing.
Yeah.
It's about 8th Avenue had about 20-30 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's a...
Enough you had to sort of lean into it.
We've seen a few destroyed umbrellas and at least one tree branch down. Should get more interesting later though. Well, so what's the latest events, Camilla?
So there's a crane I was talking about yesterday. We went out for a walk, and it's a 75-80 story building on 57th between 6th and 7th Avenue, and I was saying, what are those cranes rated to? What's going to happen? And next thing you know, it just flipped over. They didn't tie it down or whatever, so the crane bent over 180, and I was sitting over at 57th there by the building, and there's about 100 firefighters on the scene wondering what to do with it. They're telling people in neighboring buildings to go to lower floors. It's already getting exciting.
And it's hanging 700 feet above the deck.
Street. Yeah. Then we can go in there and show what's on television, because the crane is actually on TV.
People were staying off the streets, although I do see curious tourists obviously walking around, but for the most part it's pretty empty out here, and I didn't hear of any debris falling from it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear there's not a plan yet, because in order to do this, from what I've heard here out on the scene, you'd actually have to bring out another crane of a similar or bigger size to get it, and that's obviously something that absolutely cannot happen in this weather. It would just put way too many lives in jeopardy. So
So they need another crane brought out to restore this crane.
Yeah, and it would...
I'm concerned about that construction site, because there's about 15 floors. This is up around from 65th to 80th floor. There's no windows in it yet, but down below there is. And I was thinking, if you get wind in there that pushes those windows out, that could be really nasty.
That could be nasty, yeah.
And this is like 4 hours before the storm is supposed to even hit, so...
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
If we lose power, and our 3 freezers will have to be stayed shut for 2 days because we have no power. We'll see, we'll deal. Life is an adventure. This is the outer boroughs, not Manhattan.
And he expects this one to be much worse, along the lines of one of the worst storms that he's ever seen.
Given the storm hasn't even arrived.
1992 was the worst storm that we ever saw. This is coming up very close to that. In 92, the waves coming through where we're standing right now were about this high. So I'm afraid for tonight to see what happens.
All right, as we have been reporting, the high winds obviously wreaking havoc all over the city, and we are going to continue to monitor a breaking news story. You can see that on the left side of your screen. That is the picture there of a high-rise building under construction at 57th and 7th Avenue.
And yesterday, this arm was sitting there,
partially collapsed,
and it just flipped all the way around.
The jib or the boom of that crane is precariously dangling high above the streets, from 80 to 90 stories above the street level. Already rescue crews have evacuated some nearby buildings out of concern that crane may fall off completely or fly off in these high winds. To give us the very latest on the high winds, we have our John Davitt standing by in the Weather Center. John, what can you tell us?
Well, hi there, Roma. Hi, Cheryl. And, we keep talking about the worst is yet to come. Looking at the winds and looking at what our reporters are reporting around the city between the downed trees and the moderate flooding and these construction, the site issues, you could probably say that the worst is now, and it's going to continue this way probably until about midnight, 1 a.m. So we talked about a time when we were going to get to the storm, and you had to go and stay in place and, stop the sightseeing and any little errands you might have wanted to do, because it was going to get dangerous to the point where things were blowing around the city and things were breaking. And I think we're at that point now. So it is time to kind of stay inside, shelter in place until the winds get better. And that's not going to be until the overnight hours. So now is not the time to head out and take pictures of this storm or anything else. This is a serious time. And the wind's very strong right now. Let's go to our satellite shot and show you where Sandy is. It's closing in on the New Jersey coast, at least the center of it, but all of the area is feeling the the winds from this. And the storm right now, less than 100 miles away from Atlantic City, expected to make landfall right around 6 o'clock. And this is what we were expecting. We were expecting winds to really pick up as the storm system got close to the coast. And that's certainly what we've seen. Haven't seen a lot of rain today with the system, but boy, we've seen a lot of wind. And we're starting to see a few rain bands move through. Some of these last hours here, you can see a few patches of yellows. And these are like thunderstorms. And what happens when you see a thunderstorm, especially in this kind of weather environment, the winds mix down from the upper atmosphere to the surface. So we have had reports across parts of southern Long Island during the last hour and a half of 70 and 80 mile an hour winds, all from this band that is getting set to move through town. So during the next 90 minutes, chances are we are going to see a gust over 65 miles per hour here in the 5 boroughs. So again, now's the time to get yourself inside. These are the sustained winds. This is the